Ruin the
Damage the
brand.
brand. How do you say it? Don't
Don't
damage the
damage the
brand.
brand. You're damaging the
Yeah, don't
brand.
damage the brand.
You're damaging the brand.
I'm not damaging the brand.
Well, I don't know. Corey booked the guest. He doesn't even have the guy's phone number. I mean, you can't even know if he got the link. I mean, how are we gonna even bring the guy on the show?
You put the
And then
wrong
we have
date
another
on
one
the
that don't even
link.
answer the phone.
Yeah, and Oive is Hakami Chinik. It's like unbelievable, you guys.
I want an intern.
You want an intern? I want a professional show.
I want my own bus.
It's crazy. It's August 18th. There's people in the chat. They're expecting to see a show. And what are you doing, Corey?
Yes.
Did you book today's guest?
Well, when you say book, it's interesting.
Did you? Well, what? How did you?
I talked to him.
Did you?
On Facebook Messenger? He said, "Absolutely, I'd love to come on." And then we sent him the link with the wrong date on it.
I see you got the Cobain scruff for today. That's cool.
Well, good, because all we got here is Corey Cobain, because that's going to be
Corey
our show
Cobain.
today. Corey Cobain. It's the morning. Good morning.
It's coffee talk with ADIKA. Nothing rhymes with that but chicken tikka. We name drop here with Stephen and all his friends.
Today on the show, we're going to have Danny Goldberg, manager, author. And if he doesn't come in on the show, you know what? We'll have Corey Leviton, the best imitation of Danny Goldberg you'll be today, won't you? Corey. Good morning, Leviton. How you doing?
Good morning.
How you doing there?
So Danny is
Baba Bowie.
Papa Booey. Okay, he makes me feel kind of like a failure in life, because he started the same way I did at Circus as an editor, and he's done a couple of things. I mean, we have him on the show because he was Kurt's manager with his wife Rosemary Carroll, but he was also Led Zeppelin's publicist during their wildest days in 1975.
Wow.
Oh yeah, and he was also the fucking president of Atlantic Records.
Wow. That's pretty.
That's right.
He was Peter Rozowicz's boss.
That's crazy. That's crazy. You know what you better do? You better email him a whole bunch right now, because you can get a lot of people upset. You can get people upset. But look at this. You and Danny both worked at Circus magazine. And you both have a picture of you and Robert Plant. Can you send me the picture of you with Robert Plant? It's somewhere in my thing. If you could email it to me really quick.
Can I Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook message, and then Yoko will put it in the overlay in the pictures.
Yoko.
My goddamn chair, man! There it is again. It's like, where's the screwdriver? Tool time with ADIKA. There we go. Look, there we go. This chair is like look at me. I got my Danny Goldberg shirt on. I forget I'm meeting an executive. Put a nice shirt on. But look at this. God damn these chairs. Look at this. There it is. Always keep this.
That's at least you have that handy.
Oh my goodness. This chair's not even made in China. It says Vietnam. This is the top-notch chair they gave me. What's the difference between the Vietnam and the China? Ashley Furniture.
What's the difference? They're different countries.
Yeah, but they're both wobbling. But Ashley Furniture,
When
I bought this top grade furniture at Ashley Furniture, for the people out there, they told me that the stuff you buy online is not as good as the stuff you buy at the store. There's a different grade. That's what they told me. So I want to know.
That's dumb.
The one in the store, I think it said China, and the one I have in my house is Vietnam. So is this the lower grade? I don't know. But all I know, I have two wobbling chairs. When I get off, my ass hurts. It's like, come on. My wife wanted me to get a different furniture, and I got wobbly ass over here. Come on.
I would have thought that was a scam.
Look, I got wobbly ass. What's the matter, Oive? What's the matter? You okay? What happened? Well, I got wobbly ass. You never get wobble ass? Wobble ass. I'm a wobble ass over here. I get off, my ass hurts, my butt hurts.
Don't do that when I'm drinking.
I'm sorry. You got wobble ass. Wobble ass.
Wobble ass. Like a
Wobble ass.
weeble.
They call me Weeble. Wobble ass ADIKA. Look at this, Corey. So check it out. Weeble. My kid goes Weeble. So Corey, Danny Goldberg, if he doesn't show up, you could be.
Stop with that. He'll show up.
All right.
He'll figure it out.
So you and Robert, you're like a junior Goldberg.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you are. You look. There's Danny with Robert, right?
That's cool.
Look at the jacket he's wearing. Do you think
That's cool.
That is cool.
Oy vey, is that worth any? How much is that worth, Oy vey? Collector.
That looks like
Probably.
it's at the airport, right after they get off the airplane.
Really?
Yeah.
Look at him. Would you say
That's
Danny's
cool.
Jewish? Is he Jewish like us?
Of course he's Jewish. Goldberg, you kidding?
But his nose is not like yours. It's a little small. He has a nicer nose.
A tamer nose.
He has a tamer nose. And then over here, you got, look at this. There's our
Hey.
There he is, our roving reporter. Look at him, Corey Leventon. Look at him.
You're not supposed to do that as a reporter,
You
but
know?
there were just some people I couldn't not do that with.
He actually looks like he didn't mind Robert playing. Looks like he's enjoying
Well,
the
no, they're
fun.
all used to it, but you go down a level of respect in their eyes, and you definitely go down if you ask for an autograph. I've never done that.
You didn't ask him for an autograph?
No, I knew that. I
Why?
knew not to ask for it.
But
Well, okay, I got a question. What's the big deal? What's the difference in you asking for an autograph or a fan? You're still a fan. We're all fans.
If it's the last time you're ever going to see them, and you know you'll never speak to Robert Plant again, then good. But I was kind of hoping that he would find me like amusing. That he would like Circus magazine and want to maybe stay in touch. I always have in the back of my mind, oh, they're going to be my friend, which never.
Hey,
I mean,
you never know.
Once or twice out of 2,000 times it happened.
Donnie V became your friend.
See?
Well, that's the once or twice. But I think honestly, if those guys, I love them. I love their music, and I love the times we had together. But I also think that if they became mega famous like they should have been, I would have moved down in their black book a little.
You think I want to see you and Goldberg get into a discussion where you call him a prick like you did to the doctor. Would you do that to Goldberg?
No, I didn't do it to the doctor just to have a thing. The doctor was
What if
advocating.
Danny Goldberg starts talking about vax and all this stuff and get you
He's
crazy?
not.
Oh,
Stop.
look, yeah.
He's
Oy
an
vey.
all-
I love when I get you started. Look, when somebody you like, you don't want to start
I
conflict.
know.
Like Oy vey, he's a liar, right? He's a liar. Tell me the truth.
Oh.
Is he a liar?
What the hell? Why
Does he lie?
Steve,
Does he
you're
lie?
starting rumors. Now you're going to start rumors.
Some people to be nice and smooth things over, they'll bend the truth a little. I think he's done that a little, but I wouldn't call him a liar.
All right, he bends the
Corey.
truth. He's a bender.
Corey,
right?
let me
you think he's a
explain to you.
bender. You call him a bender.
No.
All right.
Okay, Corey, give me an
Look at the
example. What are
internet.
you talking about?
Your internet. How's the internet look?
You're testing my memory.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're gonna call me something, then back it up. What are you?
Yeah,
what are
why are you
talking
calling him something?
I did. I said some people.
Yeah, but why you have to call him a bender? Why don't you just started with him? Get him, Oy vey.
Corey.
Get him, Oy vey.
Corey, let me tell you what Stefan's
Get him.
definition of liar is. If I tell him something and he forgets or he doesn't read it, then he goes, "Oh, you're lying." That's because Stefan didn't read it.
Yeah, get
Yeah.
him.
You
Corey,
know
get
that.
him,
Doesn't read
Get him.
anything.
Yeah, get him.
No.
He doesn't read anything.
You're upsetting. Look at this, Corey. You're still up there in my black book. Mitch Weissman is here today. Mitch Weissman, the legend, Miss Weissman. Mitch.
What about
you know
me,
Danny
Mitch?
Goldberg?
First interview I've ever done.
Hey,
First interview.
could be the last one. You know what? The Colonel just gave me props for
Sure.
Danny
It starts and
Goldberg.
ends here.
Yeah, well,
Mitch
the
Weissman.
Colonel's like, oh, this is great. Colonel's out there. Colonel's like in his bed with his ski mask on right now, like that mask he wears a wrestling mask, and he's all excited with this guest. He's like, oh, great one, Corey. Well, hey, Colonel, if you're watching,
A lot of people give him props on this one.
yeah, but he's not even here, so don't get so excited, everybody. Corey Leventon, ladies and gentlemen. Pat.
Oh wow, he turned you down, Pat?
Always ask for the autograph. The worst they can say is no. Robert Plant turned me down. The Wizard was turned down.
You just want them to see you as an equal. You want them to see you as an equal.
Lessons from Corey. Lessons from
I don't
Corey.
know.
Look at lessons from.
That whole shit makes me laugh. Hey, look, if you don't want to sign autographs, don't get in the damn game. It's part of the gig. Sorry.
Obsessed fan speaks.
I think it's also
No,
that
it's the truth.
I never really collected stuff like that. So I think
That's just the truth. It's part of it. If you're gonna be famous, that's part of it. If you can't handle it, don't do it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Send me your number, Mike.
I thought you had it, Mitch.
I asked McCartney for an autograph. I think he's the only one I ever asked because I knew I would never see him
Did
again.
you get it?
Yeah, he signed for for all of us. There were like 5 of us.
Do you still have the autograph like in hand?
Yeah, it's my parents' house in Phoenix. Yeah.
Why is everything dude? What is with you?
McCartney's signature is worth a lot.
It's like in a moldy
Is it?
basement in your parents' house in Arizona. Come on, man. What is
I'll
wrong
start
with
on
you?
mold again.
Yeah, dude, there goes the show. I don't feel good. I don't feel good. All right, you guys take over.
See what you did, Corey? You flipped him out on the mold. No, he said the mold. He said it.
Let me go like clean my nostrils out like with like bleach
Nair.
and all this stuff. I don't know. Corey, give me a remedy for my nose this morning. Help me out.
The mold that's dangerous isn't the mold that you could smell. The mold you could smell is the mold like on bread and stuff.
Hey Corey, what time did you tell him to be here?
Oh my God, is this what this is going to be about?
Yeah, 10 a.m. Your guest is not here.
He's got, I don't know.
Danny Goldberg. Do you know where your friends are this morning? It's 10 a.m.
Why couldn't we do this coolly? Why couldn't we say, oh, and then you start talking and just banter back and forth, and then Danny shows up a little. Oh, look, there's Danny.
Because it's not. I like to stress you out during the show. Go email him right now. Show people how you email him. Go get in touch.
I emailed him 3 times, and
do it again. Do it again.
Get him, Corey. Get him.
Go do. We're live 8:11 a.m. People watch Corey do his work. Shh. Nobody talk. Okay. Amber, look at the comments. Yoko, Corey's working. Everybody type lightly. Corey's working. Hold on. What's going on in your mind?
I'm
Corey?
looking at the Facebook. He didn't read that.
Yeah.
oh, Danny replied.
He
Got
replied.
it. He's coming on.
He's like, oh, sorry, Corey. I thought you meant tomorrow.
I just reset. He has 120 links from one show that has
Right.
12 viewers.
So Danny is somebody that I
No, now he feels relaxed. Look at relaxed Corey. Hey, look at him. Look.
You notice how quick his demeanor changed? He's like, oh, yeah.
Look. You feel better? Do you feel better?
He's red. Look how red he is.
Corey, are you feeling okay? Because you look a little.
You're red.
Like,
feeling great.
do you feel? I'm getting. Everybody's
Danny's coming on. We're talking.
Everybody hawks me trying to. They're talking about my mic that doesn't sound good. I have to speak into it. I have to get a better mic. Here's the situation, everybody.
It sounds good to me.
This is my job. I have no job. This is it. This is what I do. I make 20 cents an hour. This is it. This is it. You know, I got like my wife is complaining, clean the dishes. I sleep all night downstairs. The baby, I'm all out of my mind. I got nothing.
You got mold.
I got nothing. The only thing I got is you guys. So, you know what? I'm sorry about the mic. I'm sorry. This is the best I can do. This is all I can do for you guys. All right. What do you want for free TV? Come on. All right, Corey. Go ahead. Save me. Save me, Corey. Save me.
I'm not saving you. I'm just gonna explain to you how I got to know Danny.
I don't really care, but go ahead. Tell me.
Okay.
Right.
Well,
I'm not paying attention, but tell
there
everybody.
came a time at Circus where we stopped.
Hold on.
Interviews.
What year did he work at Circus? Do you remember? Look at this. Hold on, Bob. Corey, Paul McCartney autographed his worth $3,800. Is that
No way.
Well, no, I think it's worth whatever.
Bob,
Can I say something?
Can I say something? Wait, Bob.
It's worth whatever it's on.
Bob, it's not worth anything. There's mold on that autograph. It's in a moldy, damp basement at his parents' house with warped tapes of Robert Plant and Johnny Cash.
I do know this. I know a guy that's a Beatles dealer, and he said it. And this is even on something just as simple as a CD cover. You're easily looking at 500 plus. Easily.
There were no CDs back then. I just had him
No,
sign.
I'm saying if he signed one now or whenever,
right.
because
I had him sign.
he doesn't sign them much.
We were out of the house all day. I couldn't, and we had no transportation. We were going around with taxis, so I had no ability to keep things on me. There were no CDs yet. It was only albums. So
why are you looking all nervous? Why you relax? It's okay.
But Bob, I have seen signatures of McCartney's go for that high On album covers, yes.
All right. Thank you very much. The authority has spoken. Corey, are you okay?
No, I'm not the authority. I just
the
know.
authority. I just want Mitch Weissman's autograph. That's it. The
I
closest
do
I'll
too,
get.
Mitch. I'm gonna send you my Beatlemania album.
Mitch Weissman and Justin. When I was a kid,
Okay, Mitch.
I saw Beatlemania.
I know you're lucky.
Yeah, I was a fan. But I have a problem, Mitch. I have a problem. When you're on Joni Loves Chachi, it wasn't the right bass for McCartney. That's it. That's all I'm going to say right
You
there.
caught that too, huh?
I caught that too. Yeah, it bothered me.
Yeah.
It bothered me. And
I hate that.
And Mitch plays lefty too, but then he went back to righty. Why were you being lazy, Mitch? Is my question.
Yeah,
That's
you
my
can't do that.
Yeah. What's the
You're gonna be
matter,
McCartney. Be a McCartney.
Honestly, Corey, it doesn't bother you to see the lefty and righty McCartney. You be honest.
Now he's going to be calling me. Send me a link. Send me a link.
He's not getting a link today. We
Turn my phone
got you turn your phone off to Mitch Weissman. That's like rude. Look at you. You're getting all nervous. And this is this is why you got fired from Circus. Okay, let's get back to the show. Corey's very nervous. Corey, I think you didn't fail us today. You know who we have here?
Let me guess. Mitch
Guess who
Weissman?
we got here? It's not Mitch Weissman, but it's Danny Goldberg, author, manager, legend. Let's see if he's here. Let's see if we didn't chase him away. The man is here right now. Welcome to the show, Mr. Goldberg.
Hi,
How are you, sir?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm okay.
Oh, you sound
Morning.
good. You look good. You got a lot of books.
Danny.
Got a lot of hair. It's been a
You-
long time since I had a haircut.
No, you got hair. You know what? I don't. My problem is I don't. I wear the schmatter on my head, Danny, and I don't. But
Each their own.
yeah, Danny, welcome to the show. Thank you very much for coming on the show as well. And Corey, thank you for getting Danny. We all have something in common. Well, not Oive, but us three. At one time, a long time ago, you weren't there. You didn't know Jerry Rothberg. We all worked at Circus Magazine. When did you work at Circus? I got to ask you. I'm so curious about that.
I think it was 70 and 71. I know when Hendrix died, that was the first cover
Oh, wow.
that I was there. And I think I'd written a couple of pieces before that, but then I was made the managing editor, whatever that meant.
Wow. Wow.
So Hendrix, then we had an Alice Cooper cover, a Grand Funk cover.
Okay.
I don't remember, the rest, but it was 70, 71 is the period.
So you only did it for a couple of years at Circus, correct?
In those days, I couldn't keep a job more than like 9 months, no matter what I did. But
oh my God. I got to ask you. So
Wait, so you got fired?
I think he shut it down. It wasn't just me personally. He had to shut it down. My memory of him was he was always struggling with debt and investors that come and go. And then he was involved with like some movie magazine for a while, and that didn't work out. So my memory is that he just shut it down for 6 months and then somehow was able to get new financing and bring it back. But I don't really remember. Again, quite a long time.
Does the name Art Ford ring a bell?
I
with
was
you?
just going to
Art
say that. You
Ford?
took my line. Well, don't kill my interview. I'm my friend. I want my name of the show. Hold on, Mr. Goldberg. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Johnny Carson, Ed McMahon knew when to keep his mouth shut. This is your job. What are you doing? Levington. I'm sorry, Mr. Goldberg. Embarrassment. We'll talk about this behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Corey, hey, was Art Ford? Was there Art or Renee Ford? Were they there?
Oh man, I remember the names. I can't get my brain around who they were, but those were names. They were somehow around. I mean, in the office I went to, there were just a few people. There was an art director named Christopher Marcos.
Yeah, Marcos.
He was a Warhol guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. So I didn't know Christopher Marcos. Wow.
So he was there for a minute. There was a guy named Phil Flam who was there. And I just, again, I was 20, 21 years old, a long time ago.
See, we have something in common. I was 21. I got the job. It was an ad in the Village Voice. And I found the job at Circus. We were on 18th by 5th and 6th.
Yeah.
And then Ben Lemer was the managing editor who became my roommate. And then one day I was answering the phones. I was the mailroom boy.
Yeah.
And Corey
He was
came
taking out my garbage, and
No,
now
but-
this is his payback.
But when I met Corey, he came. You should have seen this schnook when he came in for the job. He was like, he was all dressed up, like he was like, it was insane.
My father had one of those friends who, everything that you thought of was wrong. This guy, and he said, one thing you always have to remember: if you're in a job interview, it doesn't matter what the job is for. It could be cleaning garbage. You show up in a suit.
Yeah, yeah,
So
dress.
You know,
yeah,
that's
dress.
what that generation believed, and it worked. You know,
Work, yeah.
it worked until it didn't work. You know,
Yeah,
But,
dress British, think Yiddish. That's the thing, right?
yeah.
Right. That's it. That's it. Mr. Goldberg, it's God. You've done so much, and I don't blame you for forgetting the circus years. They were the only thing that I think me.
No, it was a very big deal. I loved each new issue. Look, we had color pictures. Rolling Stone didn't have color then.
Wow.
You know,
Right.
that was the big thing with Circus. It was the only place you could get color pictures of rock and roll stars. And you know, one thing about Jerry Rothberg, he was hands off. Anybody I wanted to assign, whatever, you know, he was fine. But yeah, the guy right before me was named Ronnie Finkelstein. He's the one who introduced me to Jerry when he left to go work for a record company. And then I think right after me was Howard Bloom.
Okay.
Publicist.
Yeah, who and later both of us became publicists.
Yeah, how did you just? So you were friendly with Peter Grant. I mean, how did it happen that you became Led Zeppelin's publicist?
Oh well, what happened is I needed a job. I had flamed out as a rock writer. I just couldn't make a living doing it, so I got a job with a company called Salters and Roskin. They were an old school PR company. Lee Salters had been Streisand's publicist from the beginning. They had Frank Sinatra. They did a lot of Broadway shows and so on. And they wanted like a long-haired rock guy. It was this, source of business. And then I was at Salters for maybe a couple of months in '73, early part of the year. And Lee asked me if Led Zeppelin would be a good client. I guess the lawyer for Zeppelin knew Jerry. Somehow came to him. And I said, yes, that would be a very good client to have.
Wow.
So we went to Paris. The band was doing a European tour, and Lee and I flew to Paris. He wanted me to come with him because he says, I don't know how to talk to these kind of people. He says, I'm the Guy Lombardo generation. You have to talk to them. And we saw them do a gig, and then met them, and then we were the PR company. And from that day, I was the only one who talked to Zeppelin or to Peter Grant. So that was. And then I did publicity for the United States Zeppelin tour in 1973. And I never really know I thought I did a really good job. It was a brand new experience for me being involved with a band that big, but I didn't know if they liked it or not, or what their expectations were. And then suddenly I heard from their lawyer that Peter wanted me to come to England to talk about working full time for them because they were starting their own label. So first I did publicity through a PR firm in '73, and then they hired me to be the so-called vice president of Swan Song, their label.
Wow.
So you started on Houses of the Holy was your first album.
Correct.
Did you witness any of their behavior that got glorified in the years and shark incidents and stuff like that? Did you?
The shark incident was before my time. There was certainly a lot of cocaine around and a lot of very enthusiastic young women following them around when they were on tour. But I didn't see anything quite as novelistic as the so-called.
Wow. I mean, that's pretty heavy. I mean, what you did you around that time? Did you witness? Do you remember like the Cameron Crowe as a little kid hanging around?
Oh no,
scene?
sure. I was Cameron's. Like my whole idea was the thing about Zeppelin in '73 was that they were not well liked by the clique of 50 to 100 people that constituted most of the rock press. And particularly Rolling Stone didn't care for them, but also all the people who wanted to write for Rolling Stone, who were maybe writing for papers around the country or smaller magazines. They were considered, I know this sounds insane in the context of what their reputation deservedly is today, but they were considered very derivative of Cream and kind of commercial and not as meaningful as kind of the rock writers who were maybe 10 years older than Zeppelin's audience thought rock and roll was supposed to be. So my pitch was I couldn't convince any of the snobby critics that they were good. So my pitch was, well, you may not like them, but they're really big, and they're particularly big with young people. And Robert Hilburn, who was the music editor of the LA Times, agreed that there should be a younger person writing about Zeppelin. That by that point, if you're 27 years old, even though you're still feeling young and writing for Rolling Stone, you're 15 years older than a lot of the Zeppelin fans and 10 years older than almost all of them. So he suggested Cameron, who at that time I think was 15. And, that's how I first met Cameron and how he first met Zeppelin. He did the LA Times piece for the 73 tour. And then in 75, Rolling Stone wanted to do a cover story. The band had a bad history with Rolling Stone and had turned them down in the past. And so Jan Wenner said we could pick the writer. So I talked to Jimmy Page, and he suggested, as he used to call him, Cameron Crowbar,
Who was basically a circus writer then. He was writing for Circus.
Who, Cameron? I don't think, is that right? I don't know.
No, I read his pieces.
I knew him as an LA Times stringer. That's how I met him. I didn't know the other things he was doing, but I'm sure he was writing for whoever would publish him until he became Cameron Crowe, and then he had his pick.
But you were right about the Rolling Stone that they called their review of the first album called it the Limp Blimp.
My goodness! No, Limp Blimp was Houses of the Holy.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was their review of Houses of the Holy. They called it a Limp Blimp. Earlier, they had made fun of. them. No, the Rolling Stone never liked any of their first 5 albums, and then by the time they got to Physical Graffiti, Rolling Stone was all in and recognizing they were one of the key rock artists in the world and covered them differently thereafter.
I mean, picture this: Zeppelin's getting dissed by Rolling Stone for 5 records, and then if I was Zeppelin, and I'd be like, hey. I'd be like, kiss my ass.
Well, no, that's what happened. In 73, they wanted to do a story, and I say Jimmy because Jimmy did make a lot of the decisions in the band, even though Robert was the more voluble and did more of the interviews. Behind the scenes, Jimmy was first among equals when I was involved, which may be part of the reason Robert's never been too enthusiastic about another Zeppelin reunion. So we said no in 73. That's exactly right. The band said, fuck them. So I thought that was cool. I would tell them, hey, they turned down Rolling Stone. Yeah. So then there was 75. I said, well, last time I told everyone you turned them down. How about this time you say yes, and we could pick the writer, and I think they'll do the right thing. And Cameron definitely wrote a great piece about them that was totally positive, and that worked. So they had already done the thing of saying no, and then another couple of years passed, and it was time to say yes.
Wow.
Can we fast forward a lot of years? I mean, because
I have no choice but to fast forward a lot.
I never liked Rolling Stone magazine.
Oh, really?
Really? Why?
Nah.
Well, because they never like Kiss.
Oh, because of Kiss. Because
no, it has nothing to do with Kiss. They to me, I don't know. I just didn't like them.
Yeah.
I
didn't appeal to me.
For Kiss also for a minute, right after Zeppelin, and we did do They did do an interview with Rolling Stone, who had never liked them, with Chuck Young, who's passed away now. Charles M. Young, a great writer. Yeah. And then, unlike with Cameron and Zeppelin, he still wrote a pretty snarky piece about Kiss, but Simmons was philosophical, and he said, well, better to be in than not to be in. So,
yeah.
Right.
I mean, Danny, you have, like, just listen to your stories. There's a movie waiting for you, your tale, because it's
right.
I mean, Danny, if you're gonna have somebody play you, who would you? If somebody goes out, Danny, we're gonna do a movie about you. Who would be the guy to play you?
Well, I don't know. At what age?
Dude,
I'm 70. So which version of me?
Don't say that.
No, you look good. Give us the young Danny first, the Zeppelin Danny. We'll call you Zepp Dan.
Zepp Dan.
I think Anthony Fauci's answer for who would play him is the right answer for every question like that, which is Brad Pitt. Everybody wants
Brad Pitt, right? So does Corey.
I don't think I could come up with a better.
No,
I want someone better skin to play.
No, but you know what, Danny, you got almost like the Jerry Rothberg had good hair too. You and Jerry got it's like a hair of success, the
bird,
like the publisher
bird thing. It comes with the bird.
No, except me. It didn't. My hair went away. That's why I have to schmott it. I'm the only. I'm like Larry David. All right, let's go.
As much as we want to hear about Stefan's hair, let's hear about how you got involved with Nirvana. Years later.
Sure. Well, now the time I was talking about was 73, 75. So now flash forward to 1989. Now I'm getting close to 40, and I have a management company called Gold Mountain. I wanted to be a manager from the time I met Peter Grant, and because he was such a powerful figure and he was so close to the band, it just seemed to me that was like the job for somebody that didn't have any musical ability but who loved music. But it took me a while to get people to think of me as a manager because my reputation was as a publicist. But finally, by the end of the 80s, I had this management company, and we had just had a huge breakthrough because Bonnie Raitt was one of our clients, and she won the Grammy for Album of the Year. And a year or two earlier, she had been dropped by her previous label. So I was finally, after sort of 20 years of trying to make it in the business, I had some heat, and had moved up a notch, kind of in theoretical hierarchy of the business, and I knew that there was this younger generation of rock and roll that I wasn't tuned into. I was the hippie generation, and there was this whole movement of 80s punk music, which when it first started, I just ignored because I was trying to make a living. And artists like Black Flag, Dead Kennedys, that were important to the critics and to their fans weren't the kind of people that wanted managers or could pay much or anything like that. So and my brain had moved on. I wasn't tuned into it musically. Most of us are more tuned in when we're younger. So I knew I needed to hire somebody younger if I wanted to address that. And I actively looked around and found a guy who today is an extremely successful manager. Then he just needed a job, named John Silva. And John was, so I was 39, he was early 20s. He knew every vinyl 7-inch and the fanzines. And he had a couple of clients that didn't make much money, but they were considered cool. Red Cross was one of them.
Red Cross,
and so we then heard that Sonic Youth was looking for a manager. They had made a deal earlier in the year with Geffen Records. It was the first major label that they ever were involved with. And they had a manager who they had a falling out with. And their first major label album was going to come out like in a couple of months, and they needed somebody. So I got us a meeting with Sonic Youth, and they liked us. And so we became Sonic Youth's manager. And that was an immediate mark of credibility in the alternative rock subculture. There was no artist that was more respected than Sonic Youth. Their lead guitar player, Kim Thurston, and their main singer and bass player, Kim Gordon and Thurston Moore. Kim was the bass player and singer, and Thurston the lead guitar player, and occasionally sang. They were like among the most admired curators of this new kind of music. Many artists got their start by opening to Sonic Youth shows, and at some point they loved Nirvana's first album on Sub Pop. I wasn't paying any attention to Sub Pop. I was trying to make a living in the mainstream business, and but Sonic Youth put them on opening to some of their shows, and then apparently they were looking for a manager because they decided they wanted to make it, more than just the indie world. So Thurston called me, and he said, "Look, I know you don't usually like new artists," because I had told him, new artists can't pay you anything. Management's a service business. You don't own the masters. You don't own the publishing. You're working every day. And if somebody isn't making any money, you're working for free. And free is hard to pay the rent with just good reviews and prestige. He says, "I know you don't usually like new acts, but take my word for it. This is like the best new band I've seen in years." And I did take his word for it. He was so much smarter than me about that kind of music. So I said, "Oh, if you feel that way, definitely." So they came down to LA. Grohl had just joined the group, I think a month earlier. And they liked us for the same reason. Sonic Youth said we were cool. So Sonic Youth had credibility with them in terms of recommending a manager the same way they did with me in terms of recommending an artist. So we had one meeting, and the next day we were their manager.
Wow.
So it was I owe that definitely to Sonic Youth, particularly to Thurston, and obviously to Silva, who was smart enough to understand what it was as well, and who knew the music way better than I did.
Did you sense anything really special about Kurt when you got to know him?
The first time I realized how special he was is a few months later when I saw them play live. I knew they had a buzz. I knew he had this aura about him and these piercing blue eyes, and he clearly was kind of the decision maker in the band. But I was busy. We had like 30 clients. I'm, working my ass off to just kind of keep more money coming in than going out, and trying to make it. And then I realized it was weird that I hadn't seen them, and they were kind of halfway through recording the album that was Nevermind, that would come out some months later. And he wanted to play a show in LA, I guess, to just try doing some of the songs in front of an audience. Kurt had a tremendous work ethic. He's got this reputation that's so much based on certain photos where he looks kind of out of it, or a slacker, or stoned. But he was extremely disciplined when it came to his art. And they were rehearsing 8 hours a day, so he wanted to work out the songs in front of an audience. And I went to see them. They played at the Palace as the opening act to Dinosaur Jr., and I was just blown away. The way he created this intimacy with fans, this sense of connection, I was just transfixed. I can't even articulate exactly what it was, but that's when I knew I'd gotten really, really lucky. And at that point, they became extremely important to me, because I didn't know how big they were going to be, but I knew they were incredibly special, because he was incredibly special.
Do you think that he hated how successful he became? I know that's kind of the story. How true is that? I saw them play a venue in New York, in Lincoln Center. I forget the name of it, New York something, in '93, and it seemed like the sound was horrible. It was a place where they used to have car shows, and it was cement all around. And I think he seemed like he was having a great time sounding horrible, to sort of, to say to all the new fans, F you, we're not about success, or something like that. Was that all stuff that rock journalists made up, or was there truth to that?
Well, I mean, a little of both. There's certainly no question that he wanted to be successful. All you have to do is read those excerpts of his journals that were published some years ago, and how many journal entries he would write about becoming successful and becoming the biggest band, and doing drawings of theaters and marquees with the name Nirvana on them, and the amount of notes that he wrote to different indie labels trying to get Nirvana signed. And he certainly made decisions in terms of the band's career that were informed by a desire to be successful. He didn't want to change who he was to be successful. He didn't want to abandon his identification with the punk subculture, but he did want to be successful. He cared about, what is the single going to be? And, he cared about MTV. He watched MTV all the time. He thought about every interview. He was extremely brilliant and focused when it came to the mechanics of every aspect of what it was to be a rock star. But there were a lot of the results of that success that he didn't like. He didn't like the focus on his personal life, that's for sure. I don't think he liked the kind of pressure that he was then putting on himself to stay successful, that if you enter that world, then you're worrying about what MTV thinks, and what what the record company might be able to get on the radio, and all those things. And he also had a lot of personal demons, obviously, which are well publicized, but he struggled with drug addiction and depression. So, on any given night, he might have been in a bad mood, but in general, he was kind of a divided personality. On the one hand, he had a lot of personal angst. He also very sweet personally to people, to other people. But when it came to his art, he was like this genius who every single decision was part of a vision that he had, and that vision was what he accomplished. So, by the time he gets to In Utero, he's already been successful. Nevermind's, biggest album of the year in most parts of the world, most important rock band in a long time. In the eyes of critics, that would have been a time, if he wanted to sabotage it, he could have, but instead he thought through a tremendous amount of sophistication what he wanted to do on In Utero. He wanted Steve Albini to create kind of the punk sound and atmosphere, that he loved in the Pixies and PJ Harvey, but he also had Scott Litt remix the singles, and he wrote choruses. And when he gave me the cassette of the rough mixes, he said, Heart Shaped Box is the first single. So he talked like that. So he decided to do Unplugged. He didn't have to do that. I mean, he did a lot of things that you don't do if you don't want to stay successful long after he was already successful. But he also was tormented by some of the byproducts of success.
I mean, when he came to you with the Unplugged, that was his idea. Did you say, yeah, great idea? Or did you ever say, hey?
I don't think I ever said anything except great idea to Kurt. I mean,
really? He's that type, right? Just
managers are not really generally in the habit of, contradicting creative ideas by geniuses. There might be some things that he would think of doing that I disagreed with. I wrote this book that came out a little over a year ago where I described, one time he wanted to change the liner notes on Incesticide, and I did talk him out of it. But to my knowledge, that's the only time I ever, very, very few times that I wanted.
Serving the Servant. We didn't mention the book so far. It's called Serving the Servant. I thought it came out in April of this year. Oh,
no,
the
paperback came out in the April of this year, and the hardback came out in the April of last year, which was the 25th anniversary of his death.
Right.
Yeah, and then here's the book right here. So if you guys want to go check it out, it is on Amazon. I put the link in the description. Everybody in the chat, that is Serving the Servant.
Thanks. You can see the blurb is from Cameron Crowe. Something that really meant a lot to me, that Cameron was so generous in his comments about it.
Yeah.
Just as an aside, he did one interview with a freelancer that we got early on, and then Lisa Gladfelter, his publicist at Geffen, told us that he would never speak to us because we ran multiple pictures of him in the same sweater from the same show on the cover.
Well, that underlines what I'm saying. He cared about things like that, and he paid attention to things like that. There's no question about it.
Yeah. I mean, I want to going back when you try to talk about something, like when you just Danny, the manager, or Danny Goldberg, going young Danny, because there's two guys there. Here I am. I'm going to talk to Kurt. Man, I got to sit there and ask him. How am I going to ask him to change a line and note? Did that ponder in your mind? Did you have a discussion with yourself before you picked up the phone?
Well, I mean, you first have to understand. I mean, by this time, again, I'm 40 years old, or at that point, I guess 41, 42. I've been in the business since I was 18. I had a certain way of thinking about what my role was. And my role then, and still is, to the extent I still work with artists, is to be an advocate. They have enough people in the world that criticize them or second guess them or aren't supportive in one way or another. And I learned that by watching Peter Grant's relationship with Zeppelin, and I completely internalized, and it was consistent with my own attitude about artists because I look up to them. So I don't see it as my role to argue with them. I'll answer questions, give them options, but my main job is to be an advocate. But every once in a while, and I'm also I don't manage their life, I manage their career. But if they're about to do something that I really think is, on a few occasions, there's some idea that I just think will really sabotage the professional agenda that they've asked me to implement for them. And so the one time I'm referring to, I actually wrote him a memo because I just thought that was the best way of doing it. And I stumbled upon it when I was researching the book. So I published excerpts in it because, he had written these incredibly brilliant liner notes to Incesticide that are the ones that were published. And then he was so upset about some of the press things that were demeaning to Courtney and to him that he wrote this other rant about how horrible the media was. And I persuaded him to, that wasn't, he was paranoid about some book that some British journalists were going to write and ended up never coming out. So, in that instance, I did it as a memo. I have one client that I worked with, but I don't want to say who it was, would be indiscreet, but who had an album title I thought didn't make sense. And this was maybe 20 years ago or so, 25 years ago. And I suggested maybe a different title. I think that's the whole list in 50 years. I'm not big on telling artists what to do. I'm a champion of artists. I work for them. even when I was at record companies, my currency had to do with being an advocate, although I was, of course, in that context responsible for budgets. But as a manager, it's 100% being an advocate.
But if you see yourself as an advocate, that complicates matters, doesn't it? If your client is destroying themselves.
Well, that complicates any human relationship if someone's being self-destructive. It's not particularly different, in my experience, being somebody's friend or family member, or being a manager or a record company person. I mean, it's a very difficult thing to deal with people who are alcoholics or drug addicts, which is the category we're talking about. And all you can do is be honest with them. Every once in a while, there are these intervention things. I was part of 2 of them with Kurt. You can pray. You can try to introduce them to people that you think could be helpful, whether they're therapists or spiritual people. And you have to recognize the fact that you can't ultimately control what someone else does, especially a successful adult that's not that's about being a human being, not about the role of being a manager. So as a human being, I struggled, as everybody does when they're close to someone who's an addict. Mm-hmm. As a manager, those are business issues, and it really never came up. I mean, he was not never pressured into doing anything. And it would have been impossible to pressure him into doing anything. I don't think he was susceptible to pressure even when he was destitute and unsuccessful. He had that kind of intensity and clarity about what he wanted that the great ones have. And they didn't tour that much because he didn't want to tour that much. But, very painful subject, obviously. But my role was primarily to try to implement professional things that were important to him. That's, again, I would say we manage their careers. We don't manage their lives. Although with certain artists, a handful over the years, it's also turned into a kind of a friendship. And I did feel that with him. I love that guy.
Yeah. I mean, you're working with him. Did he realize he was the generation's John Lennon? How big did he realize that? What he turned into?
It's so hard to know. I think there's more evidence that he did realize it than that he didn't. He certainly, John Lennon in particular, was somebody that he had enormous respect for, even though he was obviously too young to have been a teenager when the Beatles or even John Lennon, were in their heyday. But I think he loved the integrity. He loved the songwriting. I mean, Kurt had so many different things he was good at. Mm-hmm. But one of the things he was incredibly good at was writing songs, and he knew it. And, his sense of melody and choruses and, the intelligence of the lyrics, but they're just impressionistic, so you can kind of read into it what you want, but you kind of know what he means. He's really one of the great ones, and he knew that, and he saw himself that way. But that's a lonely place to be, because then you're in a world where very few other people reside. Mm-hmm. But he knew that's who he was as an artist. I think he knew it. I think he had that notion of himself at a pretty early age. I think Chris Novoselic recognized it when they were both really young, and that's part of the deep connection that they had. Yeah. So he had a lot of angst and doubts and pain in his head. But when it came to being an artist, it was like a compartmentalized part of himself where he had this crystalline clarity and really did know exactly what he wanted to do and executed brilliantly those years of his career.
Yeah, very incredible. I just went the other day over the weekend to his house, his last home. So I'm over there and I was by the bench and there was a guy. It was almost like being by the Dakota. So there's fans out there, people writing.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a guy that comes up to me, and I'm 53. I'm actually the same age as Kurt. So the guy comes up to me, oh man, and he knew everything. That's where the greenhouse, this is this, right? And I didn't know anything. And I'm just like, oh, you know a lot. He goes, hey man, this is my John Lennon. This is I'm young, and this was his. Yeah. And then I started thinking of Corey and I back in the Circus days, and when we'd go by the Dakota, I'm like, wow, he was like a young us. It's just crazy how that is. There's people out there just lurking, and it almost had the home remind me of that English, the Beatle-y vibe with the brick wall, going to McCartney's home or something like that. It was wild, man, to see that.
Yeah. Well, I wish he could have lived there longer, but there's no question that what he meant to his fans was as to people of a certain age and who were into rock and roll at that time. he was to X millions of them, he was the greatest. I mean, for me, the artist I always feel that way about is Bob Dylan, who's ended up living long and just, to me, made a great record this year. But to some people, it was Hendrix, who died around the same age as Kurt. And I think Bob Marley had that effect on fans. Lennon, pretty short list though, and Kurt's on the list.
Oh, he's on it for sure. He's on it. For
The reason that I emailed you yesterday was because I was getting angry at one of our viewers. He was espousing the Tom Grant conspiracy theory. I'm not going to have you go into it or anything with me, but I'll tell you what I think. When you look at anything, there are things that don't match up, and there are intriguing avenues that seem unexplored. Maybe some intriguing arguments that can be made in terms of a conspiracy. But the problem is that all conspiracies run against human behavior. For such big secrets to be kept, too many people would have to have knowledge of them. My view as a journalist is that anything's possible. I try to keep my mind open enough to explore every possibility, but just because there are intriguing arguments, that doesn't prove a conspiracy theory. And then once you become a conspiracy believer, which whether it's JFK or RFK, MLK, or usually all of them, then you've closed your mind completely to any facts that don't support that belief. I'm sure you deal with this all the time, Danny. How do you deal with it? And
well, I learned, I write. There's about 5-10 pages in the book that tells my more detailed opinions about that situation. I learned early on, because this conspiracy theory, this I don't know if he's still a private detective or not, developed this theory, within months after Kurt's death. So I've been hearing that theory for quite a long time. And I learned that, the less I say about it, the better, because it's just going to end up showing up on another YouTube channel. But I would say this. First of all, I absolutely don't believe it. I write clearly what my thoughts and beliefs are about the subject. Secondly, that theory requires you to believe that the Seattle Police Department would have a motivation to cover something up. No one's ever explained why they would want to do that.
Well, they said money. They said Courtney had money, so she paid. I mean, that's crazy.
Well, I don't think that. You could. That's just an invented notion.
Yeah.
The idea that Courtney, at any time in her life, least of all in those days, was going to be able to execute such a plan is so absurd. Putting aside that, as a human being, I don't believe she would ever do anything like that. It's just to me ridiculous. But people fixate on these things. Mm-hmm. They get attached to artists. They look for. I don't know what to say. It's certainly not the first or the last conspiracy theory. Not that I don't believe there aren't sometimes conspiracies. I don't think this is in the same category as JFK. JFK was the president of the United States, had enormous powers, and had enemies that benefited from his death. Nobody benefited from Kurt's death.
Yeah, nobody did. That's true. That's true.
There was this insane idea that you see people say, "Oh, they're worth more dead than alive," because they're that's not true. Artists are not worth it. They're one of the main ways they make money is touring, or future records, or reissue. It's just so absurd. There was years ago there was this kind of B movie called Phantom of the Paradise. I think Brian De Palma directed it. That was kind of a combination horror movie with a rock and roll angle, where some evil dude kills a guy on the theory, an artist, that his work will be worth more dead than alive. It was completely made up horror movie, and it doesn't conform to the reality of the music business. That's just a business fact. I mean, there's obviously the moral aspect of it, which is it's a horrible thing to accuse somebody of without any real evidence. But there's a few hundred people that believe it, and I get on average of 1 or 2 insulting tweets a week. and I just ignore them because I don't think there's anything to be gained from giving attention to people like that. But I do in the book give my version of it, and I stand by that. And I think that there's a lot of I don't know what else to say.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, no, that's good. I don't want to give away the book because the book.
Yeah.
It looks like I didn't read it. It looks like a great book. You guys go on that link in my description. Danny, I'm going to plug it because I want an autograph copy sent. I want an autograph copy sent from
I'm
you.
going to have to go in like 5 minutes. By the way,
right.
I said at noon my time. I unfortunately have a Zoom.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I want to ask one more question of you, Danny. Do you feel that there was nothing that could be done, or do you ever feel like you should have done more, or does that ever occur to you?
Well, both things occur to me. I don't think you can, again, and this is not unique to working with a famous rock star. This is anybody that's ever known anyone who killed themselves. And there's, I think, 60,000 Americans do it every year, and most of them have a lot of people that love them that are heartbroken when they do it. You always wonder, whoa, what if I uttered this sentence instead of that sentence? What if I make that phone call instead of not making that phone call? I don't know how you can not think that. I certainly am capable of going there. And at the same time, I think that ultimately there are some people that just can't be saved. I mean, I have many people close to me. They're very close to me. They're in the 12-step program, and they would say it saved their lives, but it's not for everybody. Kurt never liked 12-step. If that doesn't work, some people do it by meditation. Some just outgrow it, but many don't. And I don't know what, once somebody's an adult and has agency, all you can do is give them your advice and love, and try to connect them with people that you think can help them and those kind of things. But if there was a way of saving people from killing themselves, I would imagine that psychiatrists or priests or rabbis or yogis would have revealed what they are, instead of having it be this constant human tragedy that happens year after year.
Depression just hits you like it's a brick that falls on you, and there's no answers for it. It's just something out there. Danny, I want to invite you again to come on. There's a lot to talk about. You have a lot.
Oh, anytime. I love talking to you guys, and I love the Circus, the Brotherhood of Circus. That's the
Brotherhood of Circus is great because I'm born '67. You were. I was watching some stuff about you, and '67 was a.
I wrote a book about the year 1967. It's the year I graduated from high school. That's called In Search of the Lost Chord, 1967, and the Hippie Idea. That's the book I published prior to the one about Kurt.
I want to definitely invite you to come back and talk to that. I know you got to run. I have a '67 Cutlass Oldsmobile, so I would love to have you come back and talk about that and all this good stuff.
Anytime. I'm so happy to see all you guys and to think about what music means to people. It's something good in life. This is such a weird time, and there's no easy anything, but music does get into a deeper place sometimes than political columns or Excel spreadsheets. And thank God for music.
This is a great thing. Look at the Brotherhood of Circus. Look at this. I was the mailroom boy, took out your trash. You became this legend manager, author. Corey, you're writing in your bedroom, and me, I got this TV show. I got a laptop. All right, but look at the Brotherhood. How they did it, all of us.
Good.
Danny, I love you.
And
Danny.
I bought Circus.
And he bought Circus.
All right, most important.
It's an honor to have you here. I'll let you go do your thing. Thanks. I don't want to hock you, Chinik, but you have an open invitation to come back. Thank you for being here with us.
Anytime. Bye-bye.
All right, my friend. Bye.
Thanks, man.
What a nice guy, huh?
I'm satisfied. That was great. He went
nice...
everywhere with us, even the painful stuff. That was terrific. It couldn't have been better.
Very nice guys. Jeff Kidd, thank you for the super chats. I didn't want to interrupt him. So you guys, if I missed your questions, I didn't want to interrupt the guy. He had a lot to say. So I want to thank you for all the chats. And I'm sorry we didn't get to your questions. But I'm going to do this, you guys. Check out his book. I'm going to put the link. It's in my description. So after this, you can go in the description. Serving the Servant, Remembering Kurt Cobain. He has a bunch of books. I was looking on Amazon over there. But he was... definitely a legend over here. Look at him over here, right there. There's him.
He's working with a lot of people.
There's him with Kurt right there, and here's him with the family. Another picture. Look at that right there with Kurt.
I didn't get a chance to ask him, but somebody told me that Kurt left him in his will. which is that's pretty unusual for a manager.
You could tell the brotherhood with those guys. Like he's definitely like somebody important to Kurt, and you could see how they are right there. Look.
That's at the MTV
Yeah.
Awards where he,
Axl.
Axl, right? He and Axl went at it. That would be great to ask Danny about too. He was right there.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think Danny will come back. I believe he will come back. And we made a friend on Coffee Talk, and this was definitely a fun one, man. All righty, you guys hit another home run today. Hey, man, Mr. Antonio, 2005. We're trying out there, right? We're trying. Let's see some of the questions these people have in here. Great interview, Gloria. Excellent interview. Thank you, Mr. Goldberg. Yeah, he was great. Definitely go back, and if you're going to tweet him, write nice things that you enjoyed watching him on Coffee Talk. Give him some love. Let him know that you guys at Coffee Talk family love him. So give him some positive stuff out there. Let him know that you watched him today, and it's okay, Stefan. It's a touchy subject.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah. Excellent interview. I thought I think the Brotherhood of Circus magazine, Corey, that whole thing, it took it, right?
Well, that's why he started talking to me. There were some people I could reach out to, like him and Kurt Loder, especially. When I was at Circus, and especially during the time when the stars of the day weren't returning our calls, because Kurt wouldn't. Kurt got mad that we put him on the cover wearing the same sweater at multiple covers in a row.
That wasn't your choice. It
wasn't my choice.
No. People
So
don't realize that.
that's when I reached out to Danny. I said, Danny, I can't get anybody on the record talking about. I got Buzz Osborne. Can you tell me some things? And he'd be like, sure, for Circus, anytime. And Kurt Loder was the same way. He wanted to know how Lanny was in the office. So it was a really good in with these people who had time at Circus.
I like to bring Kurt Loder on here and talk to him.
Me too. I don't have a way to reach him, but if I did, he would certainly do it.
Yeah,
I know that.
Hey, Kurt, if you're
What's
watching.
he doing now?
Yeah, well, how about this? Hey, Kurt
He has a
Loder,
radio show on Sirius.
Let's try to get Kurt on there. Kurt, come on. We'll hashtag you in this. This was a great interview. Ange said, she went to school with Chris and his wife over here. So she had some pictures she sent us. But today was it was wild. It was wild. The funny thing about Coffee Talk is we had no guest this week. And we just, from a conversation from yesterday, just for me taking a weekend drive to Kurt's
That was quick.
And then from yesterday, your debate with Jordan, we just pulled this out of that. I mean, come on.
And it was during Elvis week, which is like the wrong week too.
It's the wrong week, It's definitely the wrong week. So any
all goes
questions?
back to Elvis.
Any questions out there, everybody? We're sorry about it, but we'll have Danny come back on. We'll try to get your questions answered again. This was our first time with him, so sometimes when it's your first date, you want to be careful on it, right, Corey? What's that, Oive? You were snoring. He was snoring.
No, I was not snoring.
You were snoring. This guy's
No, I
snoring.
was not.
Yeah, you were.
Go back and watch this. I'm gonna go. You know what?
I will. I heard this.
You're lying. You're a liar. That wasn't me.
Unless you got sleep apnea. I don't know. You have something going on.
I was wide awake.
All right.
Anyway.
All right. Corey.
Are you proud of me? I didn't even mention nothing about Kiss with him.
But he has work. He
Right.
has work. But he has done work with Kiss.
Yeah,
Was he
for
the
half a
reason?
second,
Was
he
he
said.
the reason for Kiss taking the makeup off? Was he one of the guys
Yeah.
behind that? He was.
Yeah.
Shit.
He was.
And
This guy's
then he suggested they put it back on.
Really?
Yeah.
You need to write to him again and tell him that our connection.
See you
with
later.
Kiss. You need.
Thank you, Scott.
Danny was a part of Kiss taking the makeup. Corey, we need to get him back on here and have
Yeah,
a
just
discussion.
because our fans are big Kiss fans, definitely.
Maybe I'll get
Wow.
Eric. Maybe we could get Eric and him on the show together. Corey, you better email him.
I will.
That's it.
I will.
But before we do that, if you guys want to see Danny Goldberg, tell him that you love him. Tell him that we can't wait to see you back on Coffee Talk. Send him a lot of love, family. Come on. There's 127 people here in the chat. If you send him love, he's gonna go, "Whoa, this is pretty cool. Wow!" And buy his book. If we could sell 100 copies of his book, he's definitely gonna come. Because he's Jewish, he's gonna like the dollars, huh?
Stop.
Mitch Weissman, you should have Rob Stoner on. Who is he?
I don't know who
I
Rob
don't
Stoner is.
Oh, yeah, Mitch. Yeah.
He's like, yeah, great.
Well, who is he? Well, if it comes from Mitch Weissman, I believe in
Yeah.
Mitch. Mitch
I trust Mitch.
I trust Mitch, but some of you guys recommend a couple of people to me. I'm a little suspicious about your recommendations here. But Mitch, come on. Mitch hung out with Andy Warhol. That's why I trust him. There's a whole nother thing. Like when he started talking about Christopher, I
I never knew that Christopher Marcos was his art director. I never knew that.
See, Jerry was closer to the Andy Warhol scene more than you and I know.
Yeah.
Because Ken, who was the Stefan for the
Wow.
men's fashion magazine, me and Ken would talk. And actually, when we talked by the water cooler, Ken looked like a Barbie doll. The Ken Barbie doll. He was like a really good-looking, beach-looking surfer guy. He was like my age, about my age, and I was like the rock and roll guy. So you had like the good-looking kid working, then you had the Muppet-looking guy working, which was me. And we would talk by the cooler, and Ken actually told me he was with Andy when he passed away. He was like his, run errands for Andy. But when Andy died, he was with him. Actually,
He was the last person.
last person to see him.
In fact,
I wish I could find Ken because he was such a.
No, E had just I tried looking for him too. There was an art gallery for 2 seconds with his name on it in New York, but the number is disconnected. I'll keep trying to find Ken Leland. But I remember the way I remember it is I think E had just started E Entertainment Television, and and there was a Warhol special, and then I'm watching it, and there's Ken, and they're saying he was the last person to see him alive, and I'm like, no, that's Ken from The Office. He has nothing to do with Warhol. I'm like, wow. And then that came in, and I was telling, I was like, Stefan, you're not gonna believe this, and he goes, oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I knew. Yeah, you didn't know it, huh?
No, I didn't know.
Because I knew it. Because me and Ken would talk all the time when you were guys. Because I was telling Ken. I remember telling Ken at the water cooler. Look at Mitch Weissman. Talk about Elvis, Dylan's musical director for Rolling Thunder. Worked with everyone, even me. Yes. Now we got to get Rob Stoner on. Okay,
right.
Mitch. Do you have a way to get in touch with him? Come on, Mitch. Help me out. It's like
You had everybody's number in the 90s, Mitch. Everyone.
Mitch, come on. Mitch even jammed with Bon Jovi. Get me John. Come on, Mitch. Help me out. You know what? It's funny. Yeah, I remember when I did think I heard Oy Vey.
No, I think that might have been Danny's microphone.
No, it wasn't.
It was Danny's microphone.
No,
Yeah,
it wasn't because
was.
I mute. No, it wasn't because you sticking up.
I'm gonna go back and watch this.
Go ahead because I muted you and the snore went away. That's why.
And you're gonna owe me an apology.
No, I'm not because this is not the first
you will.
time. I already know you snore, and I was gonna put your face up there, but I didn't want to scare Danny off. But next time I know Danny better, I'm gonna warn him. Danny, the guy snores, and I'm gonna show his snoring face when you're talking.
I breathe heavy.
Talking
I'm
deep
big.
about Kurt Cobain, and there you are going. Me and Kurt. When I first met, this is like when I first met Kurt. It was really this. I knew he was a genius. I knew this, and. Yeah, that's what it was like. Yeah.
Dude, I was awake the whole time.
Yeah, you sleep with your eyes open. You're a born liar. That's it. Corey, fix him.
Oh,
Fix his
God.
wagon.
Never.
All right, never.
You try to ruin me, Stephen.
Come on, you're ruining the brand. Hey, but don't damage the brand. But Ken would tell me all these deep, and now I forgot these stories. Rob Stone was a bass player. You know nothing. Played for Dylan. Yeah. All right. Ashley.
That's directed at me. He always directs at me, and I accept it.
Where you been, Ashley?
Yeah, he's probably got a job. But Ken would tell me all these stories, and then I'd forget it. But then I would tell Ken one day, I go, Ken, look, because he goes, I got to go run uptown and blah, blah, blah. I go, that's right. I go, save the money. I go, let's walk. We have to go the same direction. So he walked with me. Me and Ken walked together. And that's where I heard a lot of the stories because we were talking. We walked up to 23rd Street, and then we went our way.
Save the money.
I go, save the money. Why are you going to spend a token? We could walk there, get there quicker, and you'll have lunch. And I go, lunch on ADIKA, and he laughed, and we walked. And that's where I heard the stories.
I was only hanging out with you at night. I should have hung out with you during the day, and I would have got more stories than calling people on the phone.
Dude, I was man on the street. But we took a walk one time. We went to the vegan place on the west side.
That deli that served the vegan cheese sandwiches. We used to go all the time on 7th Avenue.
Yeah, I mean, we had a great time. Circus Magazine was a great. I wish I could get Jerry on here, but I don't know.
I think he might be too old.
I think so.
I think so. I don't know. That's my guess.
You think he's still by Gramercy Park over there?
Well, the person who's on Facebook who says Jerry Rothberg, I occasionally will say things and he doesn't respond like the way I think Jerry should. So I'm scared. I don't know. Maybe it's somebody.
It's crazy. This week turned out to be a theme. So we got Danny Goldberg, who's a legend. Now we got Friday, the guys from Cream. Who do we got coming on from Cream Magazine?
Robert Duncan, the managing editor, and I didn't know Robert, but he apparently figures prominently in the documentary about Cream that's debuting this week. I think it's on Netflix. I'm not sure. We'll figure that out. And then so I wanted somebody else, and so I reached out to Bill Holchip, who was one of the last people at Cream, and also edited BAM magazine. If you guys from LA remember BAM, LA and San Francisco, but he couldn't do it. So I reached out to Jan Uhelski, who was also a writer at the time. And I don't think that Robert even knows that Jan's coming on, but I think it'll be a great reunion for him. And they can talk all about Cream. Now, Cream was cooler than Circus, way cooler. They had the ability to make fun of themselves.
Thank you, Ashley. I've been out amongst some people promoting Coffee Talk. I won't let the brand down. I need all the help I can get, Ashley. That's right, brother. That's right. Yeah.
They made fun of themselves relentlessly. It was like a humor magazine. It was like Mad Magazine combined with Circus. It was so cool. They made fun of themselves. They made fun of how unprofessional they were. Jerry would never allow any kind of writing like that.
No,
but I grew up in Cream and Circus. And there were two problems. One was Cream was located in Detroit. So I was never going to move to Detroit just for a job. And two was they were gone by the time we were at Circus. Their last issue was published in like '83, I think.
Yeah,
they were totally out of business.
Out of business. I mean, God, there was so much good stuff. Hey, another thing, the Elvis who wrote the book, What Happened to Elvis, Dave. We're trying to get him on. Oive, you give him a call. Oive, give him a call. See if he wants to come. Since we're doing publisher books and all that good stuff, he'd be a good guest to get on here. But he can't have Friday because we don't. You know what? We're rock and roll. We're raw. We're real. We're like the Kurt Cobain out there. No,
the real answer is you can't book someone with the doctor. Just the doctor just goes on.
No, the doctor goes on and on. But the doctor is great. That's right. Friday, we're gonna have the doctor's going to be here Friday. Get your questions ready for the doctor. What do you guys want to talk about?
We ought to book another doctor and let him go at it. That'd be funny.
We could. But hey, I hope you guys, if you guys aren't feeling good, also in the descriptions, reach out to the doctor, okay? Click on him. But also, you guys that are watching, I want to tell you something. If you're looking for rare vinyl, you want some vinyl records, go to Spinners. He's snoring again. I hear it. It's like you got to.
I am not snoring, dude. I'm awake.
How can I read the phone number for Spinners Records when your ass is snoring? What is wrong with you?
I think you got snoring in your head.
No. Watch. Don't talk. Just don't talk. Listen to your own sounds. Listen to this.
Q-tips.
Listen to this sound, Corey. Get him, Corey. Everybody.
I'm not ever getting him. Would you stop?
If I buy a record from Spinners Record Store and I'm going to put it on a turntable and I drop the needle, I'm going to hear.
Yeah, maybe if it's your band.
Yeah, 615-614-1771. Call Spinners. See if they got any Team Fury in stock on vinyl. That's right. You're looking for some hot wax, something to talk about. You want to bring on some wax. You know what? Buy a record from Spinners today. Then what you're going to do is join our Patreon tomorrow, the Talking Wax. And then if you got 3 to 5 solid great records, rare records, a story behind the records, why? Come and play the game. Come Saturday night and play on Talking Wax with the guys. But before you go there, talk to the Wiz. You know what? 615-614-1771. 615-614-1771. Ask for the Wizard, Lord of the Vinyl. That's right. That's right. The guys at Spinners will treat you right. That's right. Spinners, they're great.
Is that your nose, Oive?
I don't know what that is. What is
that? Your nose?
Just the Facts, nice one. Ashley, Just the Facts, nice one. Congratulations on your victory. It was a bloodbath.
Ooh.
I hear Scott is going through physical therapy after the beating. You know what? He actually, let me tell you something.
I don't know. Scott had some good stuff, though, man. Come on. Gotta give him props.
Dude, I'm going to tell you something. That Talking Wax thing, it's so great because Talking Wax, you guys vote. The audience votes for the records. We're not voting. Everybody's a part of the show. It's a lot of fun. Corey, you haven't watched the show because
it sounds a lot. It sounds a lot better. It sounds great, actually.
It's getting better. That's how Saturday night. There's a lot of people that are working these days. They're back at work. They're not watching the morning show. So, you know what? You got the live at 5. It's too much for me. I got to take it away. And for Facebook people out there, I can't take all these I'll take the friend request, but if you're gonna email me and DM me, I don't answer you back on my private message. I can't do it. It's too much. I got.
How do you deal with that when somebody that you don't know emails you questions and you
I can't do
demands
it.
your time? Do you just email them an answer? I'm sorry, I can't deal with this now, or you just ignore it?
No,
I don't know how to do it.
You know what? I'm learning too, Corey. And I used to email people back, but then my emails get all like I'm a jerk. I turn out to be a real. Then they don't want to be a part of the show anymore. He's mean or whatnot. It's like I can't do it. That's it. You guys,
Well, I think.
No, here's
think
what
when
I
people-
think. Here's what I think, Oive. You guys really want to talk to me? You join my Patreon. We could talk a little bit, but after the show, I got to give my wife and child some time because
Sure.
my wife will throw me out of the house, and what's going to happen is one of you random people that want to talk to me so bad, I'll end up on your doorstep doing the show from your house and living with you. So that's what's going to happen with ADIKA world. That's right. Yeah. My wife will throw my ass out. So I got to give my family time, but I love you guys. I need you guys. This is all I got is you guys. But when the show is off, if I don't answer you on Facebook, don't get mad. Don't hock me, Chinik. If you get an invite to the show, the only way you get an invite to Talking Wax is through Patreon. And that's where I'm going to send the link. And I would like you to be a part of it. I'd like to bring you your vinyl. Show your vinyl off. It's hiding in the closet. That's it. Come on the wax. Show it off. Tell us your story. And we'll have a good time. We're going to have celebrities on there.
Is Royce coming on?
I don't know yet. Royce, I want Royce to fight Daddy Bog on Talking Wax. I want them to go toe to toe with each other. I think they'll work good together. Tracy, Corey, loved the video with your baby girl. That's very nice, and it was a great video. Yeah, it was a great video. But you guys have to join the thing, and that's it. But Corey, are you having a hard time talking to people on with your private message? Are they writing to you? What's going on?
There are some people who, if you've established a relationship, if you're like a regular commenter, then I welcome it. But if you're just like and it's not just coffee talk. It's a lot of people on Facebook who find me for various reasons, and then they want to be friends, but I just don't have time, and I don't know how to deal with it. I don't know how to respond. So I just I usually give a short answer like, hey, that's great, thanks for the question, and then go on. I have a full-time job. I can't. And a family that I don't want to hate me either.
No, I totally agree. And this is the only job I have is my coffee talk. So, if you guys out there really love us and hey, it's Patreon only starts at $1 for all of us. And it's a great, nice way of saying, hey, thanks for us, giving you entertainment, and we're bringing it back. So, hey, we appreciate you guys, and it's all about that. But don't get mad at us if we can't write to everybody and we don't answer in time. Or in the chat, especially if the super chats. It means so much. But if we miss it, or if my wife is falling asleep, shut the super chat. Don't get mad at us. We're human. We're human. That's it. I'm not professional at this. I'm learning how to do it. But
Oive, what were you gonna say?
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say I try to correspond with everybody and acknowledge every message and all that. But you're right. Sometimes it does get a little time consuming, and I mean well. So people, please. I've gotten people getting mad at me for, I messaged you 3 days ago. I'm sorry. At least I acknowledge, and I'm not being mean by saying that. It's just, it is time consuming. Yeah. And I do try to answer everybody. I do. I really do.
So Mitch Weissman, please stop writing me.
Yeah, Yoko, where's the picture? Can you put the picture of the winner from Talking Wax? If we could put the overlay in there, I can't find it. George did a great.
I love you,
everybody. I got to give a shout out to George. George, the artist. His link is in there. He has great art. I want to give a big shout out to him. The guy is incredible. Check his stuff out. Look what he did over here for Oive. Amber, if you could find that
awesome.
link for Just the Facts. Look at that.
That's great.
That's great. Did he do that by hand?
Yeah, he signed it.
Wow. Oh, wow. Hold that straight up. Wow. Oh, wow. You got to get that framed.
Yeah, I am. Wait, there we go.
That's not a print?
Right there. That's not a print? Is that a print, or that he really drew that?
To be honest with you, it's hard to tell. To me, it looks original, but it may be a print. I mean, they're so good now with these lithographs. Mm-hmm. So either way, I appreciate it. It's awesome. It's just kick ass.
Let me see. Hold it again. Let's show that.
And even put he did silverish on Ace's makeup. It's not just black and white. So
George, you do really fabulous work, George. It's an honor to have you be a part of Coffee Talk. And
Ace looks hot.
Ace was cool, and
Ace looks like a hot chick.
I'm sending these out to my Patreons. George made me actually right here. Look at this. I got stuff over here. I'm writing. I hope it gets to you guys. But George made me these, and I got George.
Those are cool.
Thank you very much, George. But George, put your logo or something on the back over here. I want people to know where my art's coming from. It's coming from you. You're responsible for that part, so thank you very much. I love you. And then Lee Stokes is another guy helping us out with a lot of cool stuff. Wanted to get the overlay in here, but I guess Amber's fell asleep on me, and we'll have to show that later. But I guess, okay, let's do this. It's 9:19. It's time to get out of here, right? What do you think? Corey, I appreciate your love, but I don't want to deprive your wife and child of that love. Hey, Corey, we all appreciate you guys. And really quick, Oive, any new Patreons you want to give a shout out to?
Yes, I do. First of all, I want to acknowledge somebody's comment. They said, Eric Graveson says, sorry, Mikey, Kiss is the worst band ever. Okay. Yeah, that's why they've sold more records and got more gold record awards than the Beatles. That's why they're still a valid band in history. Anyway, thank you for your comment. Yes, I'd like to thank Renee.
Wait, hold on. Sorry,
Sandy
Mr.
Sparkles.
Wait, hold on one second. Mr. Antonio, I support you guys because it's great content. I believe in what you're doing. Thank you for responding when you can. Keep up the good work. Hey, we thank you for being a part of the family, Mr. Antonio. Thank you. But I want to know about the guy that pissed you off really quick, Oive. What happened? Somebody wrote to you about Kiss?
No, they just commented in the comments.
Oh, just now? Wait, right here in the comments today?
Yeah,
in the live chat. In the live chat?
Yeah.
Oh, right there, Eric. Sorry, Mikey. Kiss is the worst band ever. Eric, I like you yelling at him. Sorry, Mikey. Kiss.
And then he says, much money has McVeigh wasted on his Kiss crap over his lifetime. Well, guess what, Eric? That's my fucking business. If you don't like it,
wow, look at it. Wow, he's pissed off, huh? I love it. I like the drama.
What do you waste your money on? Weed, beer, what?
I like the drama. Look how Oive, he's like,
fuck you, dude.
He's like angry. Look at it. Look. Don't mess with a man with his kiss. Look. Wait, hold on. Don't talk, Oive. Look. Oh, see, hey, Corey. I never saw him get that pissed. Hold on. Don't talk, Oive.
You know what's
Look, don't talk, Oive. Just don't say a word. Hey, wait, hold on, Oive. I'm going to put you backstage a second, but don't talk. I'll bring you right back. I want to just talk behind your back. Hold on.
When somebody tells me they don't like the Beatles or they don't like John Lennon, it doesn't piss me off. I just say, okay, we're not on the same page. We can't even talk. That's fine.
Did you see how pissed he was?
Mad.
Oh, my goodness. He was Hey, between you and me, he's backstage. He can hear me. I love it. I love the drama. I love this. Makes good show. Look, he cursed out somebody in the chat. Could be... As long as it's not, hey, if he's watching for free and he's not a patron of ours, then let him curse him out. Who gives a shit? He's probably cheap. He doesn't want to support us. But if the guy's in the chat, well, if he was a patron, I hope he's not a patron. Hey, Erica, you're not a patron, right? Because if you are, I'll fix it.
Yeah, you'll have to have him on.
Well, I'll have to have you on. But if you're not a Patreon, if you want me to protect you, Eric, join the Patreons and I'll protect you. Right? Join mine or Corey's. We have kids. Even Oive, join. Better yet, join.
He has a kid too.
He has a kid too. Eric, right now, I dare you to join Oive's Patreon. Give him $1 and say you don't like Kiss. Just pay. Give him $1, Eric.
He won't take the money.
Yeah. I dare you. Because Oive will take that $1. All right. Now hold on. I'm bringing him back. Everybody. Welcome to the show, Oive. Oive, hi, good to see you. Look, he's pissed.
Hi,
Oive. I love you. Oh, hey, Oive,
I'm not. What I'm pissed about is don't worry about what I spend my money on.
Don't get crazy. Don't get crazy.
Whatever your name was.
Road rage. He could be a patron. Road rage. Oive.
If he is, I don't want his money.
Look at this. Look. All right, then hold on, Oive. He knows. I'll split the $1 with you, Corey. Let's join our Patreon. Give me and Corey $1. We'll protect you, right, Corey? Take $1. Oh, yeah. We'll even send you a postcard for $4 here. You pay for the postage, I'll send this to you. Whatever. Corey, I love you, Corey. I'm so glad that you're here. We made our Circus magazine thing come true. Look at this.
We did. That's actually how I feel every morning when the show ends, and my family and Skylar and Joanne are so happy to see me running around the apartment. I'm like,
I really love.
Again.
I like having you being a part of the show, and you know what, Corey, you do a lot, and we've been friends for a long time. And I'm going to say it right here. Anybody watching, I'm the only person who could call you an idiot because you're my idiot. I love you. You're a good guy. You're a good friend. We've been friends a long time, and I value that. Remember that.
Ashley, too.
You know,
Ashley's allowed to.
Ashley's
She's funny
allowed
as-
to.
she's
Ashley's
funny
allowed
as
to.
hell.
And then let me bring this guy over here. Oy vey, I'm the only one who
What?
could call you a liar because I love you. And when I call you a liar, it means I love you. And when I catch you snoring, it means I love you. So when I'm
wasn't
making
snoring.
fun of you guys, it's out of love. But you were snoring during the show. But anyway, you were snoring. Oy vey, I want to say one thing. Give your Patreons.
What?
Give your Patreons a shout out. Who's your new Patreon? Really quick.
My new ones are Renee and Sandy Sparkles. Thank you so much.
Oh, very nice, very nice. Like, how about you, Corey?
Yeah.
Any new buddies out there for Corey?
Nobody do, but I love everybody old.
You know what? You know what? And I got to tell you guys, into all music, Adam Davis, Deborah, I love you guys. Those are the three new ones. You know what? How about the people who delete? Do you have anybody delete? Do you click on delete?
I have not had anyone delete.
Well,
I've
I had
had people change their amounts, but that's fine. I don't care. You don't have to-
The people who deleted, I still love you guys. And you know what? When you come back. I'm here for you. We love you. But anyway, on that note, this is Coffee Talk with ADIKA. I'm Stefan. That's Angry Oy vey. And that's Happy 11th. Daddy Bog for Oy vey's Kiss Makeup. That's very sweet of you. Look at that. That's right. That's right. See that,
Thank you, Daddy Bog.
Hey, Daddy Bog, we're glad you're here. You are going to be challenging Royce, Dirty Royce. That's right. We're going to bring you on there. We're going to do a couple of rounds with you for Dirty Royce. We owe it to you. You're working hard. But Daddy Bog, don't knock me Chinik. Like when I'm in the show, the guy's like, how do I turn this? I can't find the on button on my computer. Don't worry, guys. I think you're all idiots. That will never change. Ashley, do you want to come on Talking Wax or you just want to talk? Boom.
Boom.
Boom. Drop the mic, huh? Look at that.
You got it,
that
him
was
there.
like, ooh, drop the pen. Boom. Ooh, man. Look, destroyed him. All right. I want to thank Danny for coming on today. True gentleman, true legend. I mean, Corey,
Yeah.
I'm going to give you props for that one. You brought him on. I was busting chops. So look at the guy.
But I am an idiot. I could have had him on day one. I just never thought about it until I was getting into an argument, with Jordan.
It's okay. It's okay.
argument.
It's okay. You know what? You both were editors for Circus. He turned out to be very successful. You turned out to be with me. It's like you both met Robert Plant. It's all good. I want everybody to go check out Danny's book. Remember what I said. Please. His links are. He's snoring again. I hear him.
I am not snoring, dude.
I hear the snore every time. He's snoring.
That's your cheap ass headphones
No,
moving.
it's you. It's you. He's the guy who's snoring. Hey, check out his book. Write to Danny that you loved him on Coffee Talk. We want to bring him back. And on that note, this is Coffee Talk. We'll be here in the morning. Okay, we're not going nowhere. 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. 11 a.m. That's right. Eastern. Right, Corey? He's snoring. Do you hear it?
I am not snoring.
That's not a hurricane. That's Oy vey. He's sleeping. We love you. Good night. Bye.
It's Coffee Talk with ADIKA. Nothing rhymes with that but chicken tikka. We name drop here with Stefan and all his friends.
Don't forget to tell your friends to subscribe and like this channel if you like what you're seeing. And hey, Oy vey.